It's a good song.
It is.
How are your headphones? Good? Are they too loud?
I think they're okay.
They're all right?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, then we can proceed.
All right. Here we go.
Welcome to Real Estate for Real with Eric Pettigo, and I'm being joined by a really good friend of mine who was so excited to come on today. I had to be like, just wait, I'll find time for you
Right.
to fit you into my schedule. Quit asking so persistently to come on the podcast. We'll make it work.
That's exactly how it went.
Ashley Coker, welcome.
Thank you.
All right. So there's a lot of reasons I wanted to talk to you
Okay.
on here, but one of the things is you and I came in at like the exact same time,
Okay.
right? Like you started 2014, correct?
Yeah.
Right at the
February?
beginning.
Yeah.
And I was January.
Okay.
And so we both came in like literally at
Yeah.
the same time. We're also very close in age.
Uh-huh. How old are you?
I'm 44.
I'm 45. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And we've got families and kids, and we made the jump into this business at like the same exact time. We came to the same exact company.
Mm-hmm.
And to hear our friend Pat talk about it, I believe we are his two favorite success stories.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Right? And so we took kind of different paths and stuff, but still, here we are, 11 years later or so,
Mm-hmm.
and both doing pretty good.
Yeah.
And we've remained friends the whole time. It's
Yeah.
like we had that kind of common bond when we came in.
We used to sit in that little room together.
They remember what they called it?
No?
The bullpen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
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 But I mean, we did because we didn't really have our own offices to work at. So
No.
we sat together in this like room with a countertop and
It-
we worked.
That's exactly what it was.
It was like a weird room with a countertop, and we plugged our little laptops in and went to work.
And so do you remember I remember you and me were back there,
Yeah.
and Gail was back there.
Billy
Billy?
Pensick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
I saw her
forgot.
at the pizza place not too long ago.
How is she doing?
She's good. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Billy was back there. Do you remember, is it James Johnson? Do you remember him?
Mm-mm.
Okay, he started right about the same time. I think he was from Chicago originally. I think he moved back there
Yeah.
now. All right, yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
anyhow.
But Gail, I remember Gail was there all the time too. Yeah.
Yeah, Gail was there all the time. She's still in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And so, anyhow, I just kind of wanted to bring you on because you're one of my friends and I like talking to you.
All right.
And I thought it'd be fun. We could talk
Okay.
about some real estate. And one thing that we both just did, which is outside of what we normally do, is we attended a social function.
We did.
And I'm full.
Yes. I didn't eat that much.
You didn't?
No, I don't do really well at potlucks.
Why?
Different people's kitchens.
So, are you?
I have a phobia of foodborne illness.
You have a phobia of foodborne illness.
It's a thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you get past that?
I don't know.
You just eat at your house and that's
Yeah,
it?
pretty much.
You go out to eat?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay. Do you need to go back and like inspect the kitchen first to make sure?
No, I just, there's places I will or won't eat. I don't know. I'm weird.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you on too.
Yeah.
Is you're weird.
Okay, thanks.
So you are, the way I start these usually, and I know you've listened to a few, is like, how'd you get here? What got you into real estate?
Real estate. So one of my first jobs was in real estate in
Doing
college. I was leasing agent for an apartment company in Champaign.
Oh, okay.
In college. And I hadn't really had a job before. So like in high school, my parents were like, the focus was on education. So like they didn't let me have a job. Like I was just supposed to do school and do well in school. And, so I worked at like a snow cone stand in the summer, but that was all I did as far as work. And then it was my junior year of college.
Was it snow cone or shaved ice?
It was one of the ice delis.
Okay, yeah, shaved
Yeah,
ice.
shaved
Far
ice.
superior than a snow cone. Sorry.
My mistake.
You go ahead.
I worked at a shaved ice stand. And I can count change back without a cash register.
That's
so,
a lost art.
Anyway,
Sorry,
so
my mistake. Go ahead.
that was my first job in college, and I loved it. And I wanted to work more than I wanted to go to school. Like once I started there, because we got to go out, kind of like we do here, but like go out and show different like complexes to people. And then like they're like,
wow.
but I really wanted this. And I'd be like, okay, well we have this building over here, and so I got to go and kind of act as the leasing agent there, and I loved it. And I decided at that point that I wanted to switch my major to business because I enjoyed it so much. I was a physics major before. And so,
physics major.
Yeah, because all the cool girls are.
Yeah.
And
no, you just took a serious shot at girls in physics. Girls, keep it up.
Oh man,
I mean, the physics.
It was hard though. I mean, physics is hard. I really liked it though. But anyway, I wanted to do business, and so I ended up switching my major to business, and my parents didn't like that choice. But anyway. I ended up graduating with a degree in business.
Okay.
And then I wanted to be a real estate agent, and everybody was like, hey, you shouldn't do that. You're young, you don't know anybody. And I'm like, okay. And I kind of get that now as a parent. You know what I mean? Like if you think about your kids.
Yeah.
It's like our oldest is 21, and I don't know that, not that she couldn't do it, but just, it's harder business to break into, and you worried about like stability and, insurance and all the things. So I didn't, and I worked, in other business jobs, and I did financial planning for 9 years. So I had like my securities licenses, and that's what I did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then, let's see here. During that time, we would have had 2 kids. So we had our 3rd kid, and then I stayed at home after our 3rd kid was born, and I did like direct sales at night. And then after we had our 4th kiddo, we knew I had to have a hip surgery.
Oh, gosh.
I was injured in the delivery of our first kiddo, but so I waited until kiddo was a year old so I could finish nursing him, and then I had to have the hip surgery, and then I had like 6 weeks where I couldn't walk, and so I decided that was the time.
Time to study up.
Time.
You did like an at-home get your real estate license.
So I did like the one in-person class, and I did the bigger bulk of the course I did as an at-home study class. And I thought like this, because I couldn't do anything else,
right.
like I was just at home.
So what did you have? Was it like the textbook, the big thick textbook?
Yeah, it was giant.
Did you go through
heavy.
IAR?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. It was like whatever was recommended as the one I did, but yeah.
Yeah, it was big.
It was big, and you had to like take a test after each one, and yeah. So I just crammed it all in and got that done, and then as soon as I could walk again, I went to the little place in the shopping center where you had to go take this test, and I went and sat there, took the test, and then walked over here. And
it was the H&R Block. Is that where you had to go take yours?
It was like over by the county market on 6th Street.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So we literally did the same thing to get into real estate. I did the exact same thing, the big thick book, and I think it was supposed to be like a 6-month course.
Oh.
And that's what it took for you. It sounds like
6 weeks.
It took you 6 weeks.
Yeah. Because I had hip surgery at the end of December, and I took the test at in February.
All right, so
that's about 6, 7. Maybe that's 8 weeks
for you.
I was on narcotics the first part after that surgery. So
I mean, hey. So
after that, I was good to learn the real estate.
And now, I think if I'm remembering correctly, they give you 6 months to do it after you like order it and sign up. Oh. You didn't need all that time because you were good at that part.
Yeah,
I struggled with that
School is good.
part.
Remember the physics? Like I mean, I could study, I could learn, I could absorb it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I was like ready to go.
So when I was reading through that thick textbook, so here's what I would do: I would read a page, and then I'd read the next page, and I'm reading it, and I'd read the next page, and then I get on like 5 pages, and I'd be like, "Wait a minute."
Well, that happens to everybody, I think, sometimes when they read, right?
And sometimes
if you're not like focused.
Sure. Yeah. But
that's the whole
thing. It literally took me a year to get through this.
Oh.
Because for one, I was still working and helping run my family's business. But then anytime we had little kids, so anytime I would try to like lock in, I couldn't. And so it took me literally a year to get through this. At one point I set it down and I was like, I'm not doing this. Oh. Yeah. Weird, right?
No, like I knew that at the end of that time, like when I was able to get up and move around again, I was going to have to, Yeah,
you're a whiz kid.
Work.
Yeah, you aced it.
And I wanted to do it. I think it's one of those things too that like, maybe because I had wanted to do it before, and then, I was kind of, people are like, I don't know if you should, whatever.
I got a little bit of
and
that
then,
too.
like, when I wanted to do it later, I'm like, I'm doing this. You know what I mean? And I almost, like, appreciated it more because it was kind of like a second career, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? Like, it was my second big job, I guess, as, like, an adult. And I wanted to do it. And, like, every time, when I was working other jobs, I was like, oh, I, see things. I'd be like, oh, I would describe it like this, or I would do it like, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh,
Okay. So it's kind of a unique story then, because a lot of people, it's something they didn't even think about until later in life. But you're like right out of college, you wanted to get into real estate.
I did, but
which
I
is
didn't.
cool.
Yeah.
But you wanted to.
I wanted to,
right.
Yeah.
So the thought was there. Like, I didn't even have the thought until I was well into my 30s.
I thought it looked cool.
Yeah. I never realized.
It's not. But
now
I'm like, whoa.
What was I thinking?
Wrong.
Physics sounds awesome.
It
right
does,
about now.
right?
Yeah.
I'll be making a lot more money.
So how did you land at the real estate group then? So you get licensed, right? You go pass your test.
They had all the
H&R
signs
Block.
in the yards. So, I mean, I just came here.
That easy?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Really?
you can see that. That was a consumer, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
they did.
they had all the blue signs. I met with Mike, and I was just like, hey, yeah, this
Did you
works.
meet with anybody else?
No.
You didn't even talk to any other brokerage. You just
No.
came here because they had all the signs?
Why would I work for someone that didn't have all the signs in the yards? It doesn't make any sense.
That's amazing. No, I mean, that makes the most sense. And so you've been here ever since.
I'm a decision maker.
Yeah, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, it was totally different for me.
Okay, so
Like-
we're like the same but different.
Yeah, yeah. Like right down to the studying and being able to do that like that. And I'm a great test taker. I'm not a good studier.
Okay.
Like, I can read once it's in there, it's in there.
I think it would have been easier to take like an in-person course for it, though. You know
Me
how
too.
like you kind of absorb
Me
things
too.
when people are explaining it to you? Yeah.
Yes.
I agree with that.
Yeah, 100%. It would have been easier. And I assume
But
there's
I mean,
something like that now.
There,
I
well,
don't
there
know.
used to be then, but you had to like go like a couple of nights a week or something,
Yeah.
and it was just like, I mean, we had 3-4 little kids. You know what I mean? Like at home, when I was
too
thinking
much.
about it, and I'm like, that's not a
That
good
was too
idea.
much.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I went to H&R Block
Okay.
and took the test.
I forgot that it was an H&R
Yeah,
Block. That's
yeah.
kind of unusual, right?
I-
It's like taxes and
Isn't it?
real estate exams.
And real estate slash final test, because going through I went to the Illinois Association and took 3 tests there first,
Oh, I
right?
noted
Because
that.
you had to go pass some tests and then come back and do another one. Yeah, there's multiple tests you had to take.
I did them all at
But
H&R
there's
Block.
one big test at the end.
I did them all there,
Really?
right?
You're asking me. I don't
I
know
don't know.
because I didn't. I know, and it's maybe we signed up for different course. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it was just handled differently.
Maybe so, but
have no idea.
I know I had to go there, and that test I took.
I took a test here.
You took a test here?
Yeah, like a circle, a scantron, like
Really?
yeah, like a multiple choice test.
Interesting.
I don't know. Maybe I'm
Was that like the post license? Which is how you know we've been doing this a little too long. 'Cause we're
no idea how it works.
But I
and
do
they've
remember.
changed it all since we did it, right? Like
I
it's
would-
all different now.
I should
so-
hope.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But here's what I do remember.
Okay.
Is everything in that thick textbook.
It does not
It
count
doesn't. It
in
doesn't
like
apply.
the actual job of real estate.
It doesn't. Like there are.
How many square feet are in an acre? But I can ask Alexa that every day, and
Yeah,
she
you can.
knows. And I'm like, okay, now divide that by what I've got, and now we know. Yes.
Yeah. It's that kind of stuff, and then interests and different types of and it's like.
Oh, yeah.
It's all that stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, just talk to your lender, not your lender, your real estate agent.
Right?
You know,
Yeah.
I can have a
Wanna
general
overstep,
knowledge of
yeah.
this stuff, but I'm not out here helping you figure out what your payment's going to be. That's not my job. But there are some of the laws and the legal stuff that's important that it might not land on your plate until you're years and years into it, but it's like, oh yeah, I think I remember reading about this back in the mid 2000s.
Right? Yes.
But that test at H&R, it was unlike any of the other ones, and I failed in my head.
Oh.
I did not think I passed that test. And then I remember you go out, and it's like a quick grading.
Yes. Like instant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you walk out and then there's like a little person at the counter, or like another little computer
Yeah.
kiosk, and then they print something off and they give it to you. They're like, congrats.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a lady sitting there, and she was, this lady was all business. But you know me.
No nonsense.
Right, yeah, she's all business. And she's like, runs through, she's like, well, you passed. I'm like, what?
Right?
It's like, I did?
Yeah, can we high five
like, yeah.
or something?
Oh, can we? We
You
did
did?
high five. I made that lady high five me. I said, what did I get? And she goes, it doesn't tell us that. It just says pass or fail.
Okay.
So I don't even know how I did on that test.
Like if you squeaked in
Right.
or if you like aced it. Yeah.
And I just said, I put my hand up and I go, put it up. And
Okay.
she's like, I go, put it up. Like,
Okay.
and she
yes,
high-fived
you
me.
guys celebrated. I don't think I got that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you
I
had
just
to
walked
ask
back
for
to my
it.
car and had to call my husband.
was-
I'm like, hey, I did it. All right, see you later.
There was, I mean, we're having a good time, but like for me, I needed this bad because where I was at working for my family, it wasn't, I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't provide sufficiently for my kids and my family. So like I needed this, and I needed it to work. But I remember for me, because right out of high school, I went to work for my family. It's all I knew. I mean, I was literally a kid. I was 17 and that's all I knew. And now I'm in my early 30s. And so I'm married and I've got 3 kids and I'm not able to make ends meet. Things are getting rough,
It's
and
tough.
I needed
That's a crappy way to feel too.
yeah.
It's like, oh.
Yes. And so
Yeah.
I needed this. And then I went from this range of emotion where I felt like I didn't do it. And then I did. And it was just, and so I went and I sat, I think I drove our minivan there with the dent in the bumper that day. But I went and I sat in the parking lot at H&R Block for maybe 5 or 10 minutes and just sat there. I didn't call anybody. I didn't do anything. And it was just kind of like I don't know. I just felt like my whole life was getting ready to change.
There are moments in your life where you feel like
Yes.
it's never going to be the same as it was yesterday.
Yes.
Like you're like, this is the turning point.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me. And thank God, because I absolutely love what we do.
I love what we do too. Yeah.
I can't imagine ever not being this. I can't imagine ever a point in my life not being a real estate agent.
It just like it becomes kind of like who you are,
Doesn't it?
Too. And then sometimes like you realize you're working and you're like, I didn't even know I was working.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just weird.
Well, I mean,
And you can like, I don't know, like last night, like we had to go to this basketball meeting and I'm like writing a contract in my car. I'm like, well, I don't have time to go home and back. So I'm like writing a contract in my car. And I'm like, well, this is normal, right? Like, but that's not
For
normal.
us it is.
It was like 7:00 and I'm like in like a dark parking lot writing a contract, and I'm like, well, just.
but for us it is.
It is normal. Yeah. Like, I'm like, okay, well, I'm ready for business. Like, let's do it.
That's the part that you didn't understand before you got into it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not in that big, thick textbook, and it's not in the tests where you're typing up contracts in a parking lot
Right.
outside of your kid's game or something, where
Yeah.
there's no clock out.
Ever. Like, you can unload the dishwasher and talk to a client.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yes.
Yeah,
Like,
and I do.
I'll wake up like, later in the morning. My husband will be like, hey, your phone was dinging at like 6. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, I'll look at that. Yeah.
I remember one day specifically, my phone dinged at about 3:30 in the morning, real estate text from a guy I have who doesn't sleep well. And so he sends me over a list of properties he wants to see at about 3:30 in the morning. That night, it was almost midnight when my last ding happened. It was, and that's what you sign up for, but you don't know that's what you sign up for, but it is.
Yeah. Well, I think that's hard for a lot of people too. I mean, with real estate, you just, you're self-employed.
Yeah.
So that's hard enough for people that have maybe not been self-employed before.
Yes.
Just learning, like nobody knows if you did or didn't show up for something or get something done on time, or, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
your clients do, but like nobody is managing your day-to-day tasks and routines. But again, it never, ever stops.
No. And then so for people like us, and now our kids how old is your youngest kid?
12.
12. All right. So you're getting to that point where less and less hands-on is needed. Mm-hmm. Right? You don't have to be there you don't have to pick out every outfit. You don't have to.
No.
Right. And
Yeah.
but when we started, This is very much not the case.
No, yeah.
They were young. They
were
needed
little.
us for everything. So how was, and I've talked to a few other agents about that, like how was juggling that part of being, being a mom to young kids who needed all of your attention, but then also building a business? It's hard, right?
It's super hard. Yeah. I think you just work it in, you just,
Just
I mean,
wing it.
okay. So like we had like a big vehicle and I, like if I had to go show something, I might, like the older kids are in the back seat, little kids are in the, you know what I mean? I'm like, hey, you guys, so I'm going to leave the air on. We're going to turn on a movie and I'm going to be back in 30 minutes. You're going to sit in this driveway.
Thank God for technology.
Right? Yeah. So, I mean, we did that for a long time. I mean, my husband and I tag team, like he would take, somebody and like that's just what you have to do with a large family. I mean, it's tricky, but I mean, if you want to build a business, that's what you have to do, regardless of what career you have, I think. I mean, it's just, I'd have to hire sitters, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like a high school age, like sitters for like when the kids were little that would have to come over, if I had to show a big group of, when we used to go out and show 5 and 6 houses at a time, which we don't do anymore, it's weird. Yeah, it is weird. I'm like, we'll go see one today. And then when that one comes up, we'll go tomorrow. But yeah, when we used to go see those big like strings of houses, like if my husband and I both had to, work, then I would just have to hire a babysitter.
You think we're ever going to get back to that?
I hope so. I kind of liked that because then you could like instantly compare things.
Yes,
it's helpful for buyers because I think that everything starts to get jumbled.
It's now
over time.
Everybody is waiting for that one house to hit that they're looking for,
and everybody pounces
on it.
They do. Like on the savannah.
Like
you're like,
it didn't. I remember it. Where it would be like, okay, listen, clear your Saturday. I'm scheduling 16 showings. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put together a list of houses that we're going to go look at because you had those options. They were all out there. There are houses everywhere. Mm-hmm. And then like now it's just wait, and then the second it hits, let's get there because who knows when another one will come.
Right.
We need to get back to something at least.
Some sort of at least normalcy because it's not realistic for every buyer to be able to drop what they're doing and run to a house that day that it goes up for sale.
And it's not realistic for us to be able to get there either.
But I mean, the consumers are the ones that are really, you know what I mean? Like if you have a job that you can't leave, an obligation that evening, then.
Isn't it fun when you're dealing with like a client, and it's probably like earlier on in your working relationship with them, when they say like, oh, but we could go tonight, but it'd have to be at like 6. I don't want you to have to work like nights, or I could go Saturday, but I don't want you to have to work weekends. And you're just like, oh, that's adorable. Yeah, no, hey,
that's okay. We'll go.
You understand?
It'll be dark, but we will go. Yeah.
Everyone I work with has a job, and so when they're able to see houses, is after their job. So that's when
we work when people are off.
Yeah.
Like a lot of those Monday holidays.
Yes.
Like like a lot of workers are off
those
work.
Sound nice,
I'm
right?
Like, yeah. I'm like, oh, a Monday holiday. I guess I'll be working all day. Lovely.
But I do. I mean, do you ever? You have to give yourself some time every now and then.
You do,
right? Just take a day where you're like, I'm not going to schedule any showings.
But I don't know that those days are necessarily scheduled. I think that they just sometimes appear in your schedule, and then you're like, oh, look at this. I'm going to, you know what I mean? Like if I'm looking at my schedule for the week and I'm like, oh, look, on Wednesday I have like a completely free day. I'll go to a grocery store and, do my laundry and, whatever that looks like.
Whatever.
Well, whatever needs to be done. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't mean, because I might have worked all day Saturday, or I might have, I might not work all morning or something. And then I work all night, not all night, but you know what I mean? All evening. So your little pockets of time are weird, but it's hard to balance that.
It is. Like I'll intentionally at this point, and I would have never done this early in my career where I was jumping after everything. I'll drop anything to go show a client a house. I just want, but now like I'll take a day. Oh. I will. I like if there's something going on like on a Monday holiday. I'm lucky enough that my grandparents are still alive and they're in their late 80s.
Oh, that's cool.
But we'll still they'll have get-togethers at their house on these Monday holidays, and everybody will come over, and I'll just not schedule anything. If somebody's like, hey, can we go do this? I'll be like, I can't. And I just won't. And I'll go spend time with my family.
I don't
That's that you seem so puzzled by that concept.
Well, I might not be as good at that as it sounds like you are. Yeah, no, I'm not good at that. I still work all the time. I don't mind it though. Like I said, I feel like it kind of weaves in and out. It kind of just becomes who you are. It just weaves in and out of the day, and you're like, oh, I'll do this really quick, or I'll do that. You know, it doesn't mean that I wouldn't take time to like go to lunch with somebody or something, but give them a whole day. That is gonna.
Okay.
It's probably
you have to be able.
Not.
You have to be able to just take a day every now and then and spend it with people that you actually love and care about.
I do. I see all the people I love and care about all the time.
I don't mean clients.
No, I mean like I live with them, you know?
Yeah. No, I know.
We take time out and do things, but like I said, I don't necessarily know it's a whole day. You know, but like our kids that are in college, like we take time out and go see them or whatever. But it doesn't mean that I'm not on the phone all the way there.
Sure.
Have to answer text messages while I'm there, on the phone all the way back.
And I of course I don't turn my phone off ever.
No.
So I'm still always kind of working. But as far as like actual physical appointments, yeah, caveat. I'll be just completely honest with this. It depends on the client.
Yeah.
It depends on because we all have and we all know that we have some clients, and I'm not even talking about like price point.
No, it's nice people. It's
people I know, okay, if I take time out of my life and we go through this house and you love it, we're writing an offer. Right? We know we all have clients too that maybe we've been showing houses to for a year or so, and it might take, that'd be the.
Oh, you mean like how motivated they are to purchase?
Exactly.
Okay,
so
that's fair. Yeah.
If they're just like, I kind of want to check this one out. Could you go? I wouldn't mind taking a look at this.
Oh, I have another appointment.
But if it's like, I need to see this house.
Yeah,
this could be the one.
Yeah.
Then okay. Then I will find time. If I have a family thing going, I'll figure it out. I'm not going to let you lose a house. But if you're just wanting to,
Right. Well, if you have a client that needs to see something and you truly can't go, you'll find someone to show it to them, though. I mean, that's what I would do. Like if I had a client, I had a client that was like, this house just came up, I've got to see it. It's the one. And I'm supposed to drive to Champaign to see my kids or something, I'm going to call another real estate agent and they're going to meet you at this house and we're going to figure it out, we'll get you in.
If I'm out of town, then yeah. If I'm in town, I'll drop what I'm doing. If it's like, hey, this could be the one, I'll drop what I'm doing then. But there has to be a really high chance that I'm going to sell that house for me to
they're not just looking.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So I'll take a day, unless something like that pops up. Like, for instance, this afternoon, I was supposed to go from this. I do another podcast. Actually, I do a couple other ones. No big deal.
So many.
It's fun. I love this. But I do a fantasy football one with my friends.
Okay.
And we're supposed to record today.
Uh-huh.
Well, I got a text that was like, hey, can we look at this house Friday at noon? Well, Friday I'm going to Nashville.
Oh.
I said, can you go tomorrow? Well, tomorrow they're going to be out of town. They said, what about today at 3:20 or something?
Yeah,
I said, okay,
I'll be there.
I'll be there.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, guess what, fellas? Not doing
this
today.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, exactly. So, and it's fine. I don't mind it, but it's a tough juggling act sometimes. But
it is. It's hard. I would say it's harder, for me at times, to balance being like a mom, a wife, a real estate agent. You know what I mean? Like all of those things. Yeah. And I volunteer on a couple of boards, and I was always thinking those people on the high wire that they have to hold that long pole.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Okay.
That's what you feel
everybody's like, okay, well, a little bit, because I think that people act like your work-life balance is some sort of magic formula that's still. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Those little machine things that they always have in the pictures that you put the two things that are even weight and you're like, okay, that's balance.
Yeah.
No. Balance is active. Balance moves and shifts with your life. You know what I mean? That person on the high wire. So some days I'm a really good real estate agent.
That would have been the first.
I know. There's some days I'm a really good real estate agent, and then there's some days where I'm like a really good mom. You know what I mean? And it's hard though to be really good at everything all at the same time.
Well, because it takes so much time and energy and effort to be good at anything.
Mm-hmm. So I think so there's places like if I would look back over my career over the past 11 years, I would look at it and say, okay, there were times there where I was like, you have to, you know what I mean, things like that are going on with your family and you know what I mean, with your life, and they're just like kind of but it's active. It's not like there's no secret.
That's a great way to put it, because you're 100% right. It is like that. It changes. The way to keep that balance like changes and shifts kind of with time. So it's not like you're like, all right, today I'm dedicating 3 hours to my kids and 3 hours. It doesn't work like that.
No, it's like, hey.
Sometimes you have to overcompensate a little bit.
Mm-hmm. You do.
Hey, listen, I know I've been gone a while,
but like if I sell this house, I'll buy you a blank.
Yeah. Fill in that blank, Ashley.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Do you guys, are you able to do vacations?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We usually do 2 a year.
All right.
I usually work through most of them in a very pretty place.
Yeah. And that's fine. Like,
it's okay.
How good does it feel when you're on vacation and you get a deal together back home?
Yes.
And you're like, vacation paid for.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. No, it does. It is. Yeah. It's kind of neat when things fall together when you're not present, but you can still make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you allow yourself that vacation.
Mm-hmm. I make it sound like I'm no fun.
I'm trying.
Maybe I am no fun.
To help.
I'm like,
I think you're a blast.
I totally suck.
No.
Yeah.
So how old's your oldest kid?
21, 18, 14, and 12.
21, 18, 14, and 12.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I have a freshman and senior in college. And then we have a 6th and an 8th grader.
Okay. Mm-hmm. See, I've got 21, 18, 16.
Okay. We're close.
We're
21
close.
and 18 is, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just decided to keep going.
You know what's, and it's so hard. I told you we're going to Nashville Friday, so we're going for the weekend.
Okay.
My wife and I have not had a single night without kids in 8 years. And it's so hard. And it's like now that they're older, we have to be like, okay, this is fine. We can leave. We've got 2 legal adults. Mm-hmm. And the most mature one is our 16-year-old,
right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Just kidding, buddy. Jace listens to this. He's our oldest. It's you, bud. Yeah. But
not really.
Yeah. But they're good.
Yeah.
They're good. We can go.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever do anything without your kids?
Well, our youngest is type 1 diabetic.
Right.
So I haven't been more than an hour and 30 minutes away from him for 4 years.
Okay. Well, that's a different circumstance.
Yeah. It's just it's tricky. And when things go wrong, they go way wrong, it seems like. So I just don't, I'm uncomfortable with that at this stage. And not that we don't manage the disease well. It's just, I've seen what it looks like when something goes wrong, and it's a tricky place to put someone who isn't as familiar with the disease into to throw, you know what I mean? Throw a volunteer person into, you know what I mean? To try to fix or troubleshoot. Scary. So, no.
So you got to be close by. Mm-hmm. Understandable. Mm-hmm. See, that's good mom
gotta
stuff
do what
there.
You got to do.
It's good mom stuff,
Yep.
Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
So you're fine. You're balancing that pretty well.
Some days. It's active. Remember?
Yeah. All right. So we are coming into the end of the year.
Uh-huh.
The slower months it's supposed to be in real estate.
It's supposed to be.
So, and for a lot of people it is. And honestly, I mean, I feel like showings have slowed down.
Okay.
At least I don't have as many people wanting to go see things right now as I did a couple of months ago. Okay. I don't have nothing to do. Mm-hmm. Showing one today. But
3 o'clock.
Yeah.
He'll be there. 3:20.
But it does, it does kind of slow down a little bit this time of year. How do you combat that? Is it just not for you, so it doesn't matter? Phone's still ringing?
Yeah, the phone's still ringing. I would say by I am okay with being a little slower this time of year,
Right.
you know, like, cause our kids are home for, you know what I mean? More time, and you have more things to do, you know, like it seems like there's lots of school things that we've got to go to and things like that too.
Holidays.
Yeah. But I wouldn't call it slow. I mean, I had always just, I don't feel like it's, I mean, I don't want to sound
like I'm so busy all the time.
No, I don't want to just sound like that. I just, I mean, it may slow down slightly, but I mean, it's not like you've got nothing closing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's still a handful of closings every month, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes they kind of cluster together, you know what I mean? But that kind of also goes around like, I work really hard and then I'm busy and then I'm like, oh, I need a little break, and then it clusters again. You know what I mean? But
Yes.
sometimes like, I mean, I like my business to be as regular as possible, but sometimes life, you know what I mean, gives you like a bunch of things that start, you know, like all at one time. And I'm like, well, I can't work as much right now. And then, you know what I mean? Then I get busy again. So it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always days that like, you know, I can stay at home and like clean out my kids' drawers and fold everything and put them in there the way I want them.
Yeah. That's good.
You know, but then I feel good. I'm like, all right, let's do this.
I've kind of noticed after doing this for a while that, you know, when it does, like after a busy year, and it's like, okay, good. And then the end of the year gets here and it's almost like a welcome change of pace. Not nothing, but not the breakneck pace it was.
Well, and like when the weather is crummy,
Right.
and like you're like, I don't know, like, do we really need to go tonight? Like in the
Yeah.
snow, like,
And then
you know,
it's kind of a nice little exhale, but you have to be careful because
you can't rest on
you
that.
can't.
No.
Because like in this business, when you work and you get something done, you get a deal together, great. But you don't get paid for that for like best case scenario
You
a month.
got to get it to closing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Best case scenario a month. So, all right, cool. I put some deals together. Great. Well, if you kind of like take some time off at the end of the year and just kind of relax and you don't stay on it,
That's a huge mistake.
it is a huge mistake.
I think that this time of year, though, is also a time where you can, you know, kind of loop back to a lot of your clients, not in a
Yes.
salesy way, but just like in a, hey, just touching base, you know, did you remember to put your homestead exemption in, you know, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That you can circle back to people, or even, you know, like, you know, just with Thanksgiving, like, you know, I'm thankful for this, or, you know, whatever, like those kind of things. I think that allow themselves, you know, yourself time to just reconnect with people. When I'm slow, like I reconnect. I already told you I wear that name tag everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Not the
you do.
sticky one I had on today, but you know what I mean? Just reconnect with people, get out and about. And I'm not super people-y, but I mean, like I'm present at a lot of things.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because like if my kids are involved in theater, or if there's a game or something, you know what I mean? I'll show up with my name tag on until somebody tells me, oh, you've got your name tag on. I'll take
Whoops.
it off. I'm
How'd
like,
that get there? Huh?
Sorry.
By the way.
Did you know that I sell real estate? But I do, you know what I mean, though? But there's a way for you to still be present, even if you're not necessarily like working.
Yeah.
But it just reminds people like that's who you are and that's what you do. And then you start questions, and then, you know, when they need you, you're top of mind.
How do you have like a fun and unique way that you stay connected with people, like your clients, or do you just shoot them a text every now and
Fun
then?
and unique. I don't. No, I mean, not
Just
really.
shoot 'em a text, reach
Well,
in.
you know, you think of people when things happen,
Yeah.
right? Like if you're like, oh my gosh, I saw that, you know, my client and I talked about like this show and like there's going to be next season. I'm like, I'll text them or something.
Yeah.
Or like, hey, I drove by your house. Oh my God, you guys have cutest Christmas lights, or you know what I mean? Whatever it is. Because we're out and about, like, you know, neighborhoods and stuff too. So you can drive by and be like, okay, I sold that and that. You know what I mean? Like, you know where your people are. So there's ways to just kind of, I don't know. There's a lot of things that just remind me of clients, and then I'll be like, oh, I
And
need
then
to
you
tell
reach
her
out
that.
right then. Yeah. I mean, that's super important to like maintain that contact and that connection. And
Well, because you're still like they're still your client.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even though they're not buying a house right now, they're still your client. You
I
know?
always tell people that after closing, that, you know, be like, okay, well, hey, this has been great. Thank you for your help. And they're like, have a good life, or what, you know what I mean? They think it's over. And I go, hey,
No.
I'm your realtor forever.
Yeah.
So
Our group text can continue.
yes, yeah, we keep talking.
Yeah.
We can still be
Yeah.
friends. Like,
But there's
if
there's
you need
times where I'm
anything,
like, you
text
know,
me.
Yeah. But I mean, I just reach back out to, I don't know. I feel like I talk to my clients and like really know them. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
by the time like I'm done with like a transaction for my clients, I know who they are. You know what I mean? Like I know like, you know, things that they don't even know about themselves, about how they prefer, how things are in their house and how they use their home. And you know what I mean? I know the people involved and who's going to live there. You know what I mean? I know that this kid needs this bedroom and this, you know what I mean? Like, you know, all of that. Husband's got to work from home, but he can't be too close. You know what I mean? Like, you know everything about them.
Yes, you do.
If they like gas stoves or electric, you know what I mean? Like, you know everything. And so like, in that process, you also learn, like, you know, just like what they enjoy doing or what they came from before they got there. And so I think that gives you just like a gazillion ways to connect with people, because there's always something that you might have that's similar in common.
Has your memory been tested yet where maybe like you run into a client of yours from like 8 years ago?
Yeah, and you know their address and not their name.
Yes.
Oh.
That's the worst.
And I'm like, oh my God.
Hey, you. Oh, hey.
How's your house?
It's good. You guys good? Hey, man.
But you know where they live,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, like you can
Creepy.
see the house.
Yeah.
Like I could draw the floor plan
Yes.
if I had like a little sketch pad. And then I'm like, ooh.
It's just tough because after like so many years and then like literally hundreds of clients, and it's like, and some of them, you know, some of them we spend so much time with.
Yes. I think that's it, though. I think it's like the people that you don't, like maybe like they bought the first or second house and then the transaction didn't have like any speed bumps in it where you're like, oh, you know, and then you get to that closing and then you're like, okay, you're good, you know, and and that's it.
Or they were a referral and you go list their house and sells in a day with no inspections, nice and clean and easy. And you're like, oh, hey, yeah. I remember you.
I have before. And then
that's tough.
That is like one of those, they're like my folding laundry moments where I'm like
so
folding
scared
towels
of
later.
that.
And then I'm like, oh, I know her name now. You know, I'm
Yes.
like, oh, shoot, you know, but it comes back to you.
Like I do that. I do like a brain exercise when I'm like, I mean, not anything special, but I try to remember like clients and I'm like, okay, if I run into them, what was his wife's name? What was, you know, and it's, I'm just, because I'm so scared.
Oh, okay. So what I do is I'll like be sitting there and I'll be like, oh my God, I know who that person is. And I'll pull up my Dropbox and I'll be like, okay, 123 Banana Street.
Yeah. That was a nice house. 123 Banana.
And I'm like, yeah, do you know what I mean though? But like I look it up and then I'm like, oh, okay, I know her name now.
Yeah.
And I'll just like quietly set my
gotta
phone
look
down
it
and then
up.
I'm like, oh, hey, you know. But that's, you know, you
it's
remember.
hard.
Yeah.
It's hard because we deal with so many people. And to them, like, we become, and not that they don't become a part of our lives too, but to them, we become like a really big part of their lives for a few months.
Yeah, a short period of time.
Yeah, when we're spending all this time with them and we've helped them through this hugely important process in their life. And for us, it can be easy to afterwards just, you know, now we have to shift our focus onto, we can't give them that same attention. All that, you know,
I mean, they have one real estate agent that they're working with.
Right.
We, you know what I mean? At one point in time could have a dozen, you know, clients that we're working with. So it's like, you know, there's just more to remember.
Yeah, I just never want to get to that point where I'm admire or something and one of my clients walks up and I'm like,
oh,
who are you? Hey, yeah, no, of course I remember. Yeah. I worry about that.
It's happened to me.
As we get older.
It's happened to me. But I mean, they might also be looking at me going, I know her from someplace too. You know, I don't know. You'd like to think that everybody remembers you as a real estate agent, but I'm pretty sure that everyone doesn't, right? I mean,
they can't. It's impossible. Nobody bats 1,000.
No. Yeah. But I mean, like, also, you know, think if I've got 4 kids and then like all of the other kids' parents from their class and then like the teachers at school and then, you know what I mean? Like there's all these people in your life that you know, and then you see somebody and you're like, okay. They're like, did you go to school with one of my kids? Like, you know, how do I know you? You know, like if you both recognize each other and know that you know each other, but then you have to figure out where that connection was. So I feel like that's happens all over in your life, not in only real estate.
Right.
It's not.
It's still a fear of mine. I don't know. I just want to know everybody. And I don't.
Yeah. I mean,
I want everybody
ideally, that's
to feel
how
important.
it would work. I don't know that it's necessarily realistic, though.
All right. Well,
it's okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Go get more clients.
Okay. I will.
Challenge yourself.
So I am lucky to be married to like one of the creative types, you know, where she's always thinking of cool things to do, you know, like fun little mailers to send out, you know, around St. Patrick's Day. Okay. I'll pick out like a bunch of clients, you know, not all of them, that would make me go broke, but I'll send them like like a scratch off ticket, like a, St. Patrick's theme,
Okay.
scratch off ticket with just a little letter. It's like, lucky to have you as a client. Here you go. Hope you have a little good luck here too. Something like that. Just little things like that. And then at the end of every year, not to give away my secrets.
Okay.
But at the end of every year, I go around to each of my clients' houses and I drop off a package, and it's like a couple of rolls of wrapping paper.
We do that
With some tape attached to it, and then a little box full of treats that I made myself.
I don't have any homemade treats.
I do homemade treats.
But again, fear of foodborne.
Yeah. So you should work to get past that. You'll be fine.
I know.
Like Adam made some really good meat.
I did take,
Okay. It's really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had some. It was very good. Yeah.
All right, you just stay away from the casseroles, huh?
I did. There's no way. I can't do it. I don't think I'm a bad person.
You're not, whoa, no judgment.
It's not. It's
No.
just like, ooh, no.
I do have a phobia of like I wash my hands
Oh, yeah.
more than any human I know, nonstop, and I'm always aware of the last thing my hand touched. Like if it was a doorknob or something, then like I'm certainly not going to be sticking my hand in like a bag of M&Ms or
No.
something after I'm washing my hands. When I cook, I wash my hands like 35 times
where they're,
while
like,
I'm preparing
dry
the
and
meal.
you're
Oh,
like, ugh, yeah.
they're so bad. So
I'm like that.
I understand, but for some reason, I'm able to, I guess, compartmentalize that
I
fear
guess so.
when I'm
Yeah.
when I see
Eating
some
the
mac and
food.
cheese that I want to eat.
Anyway, you were giving out nice Christmas.
Yeah. I'm making you see you're squirming over there when I'm talking. Yeah, but I do, and I
my
go
hand
around. It's
sanitizer.
like, and we usually, my wife will make some like ornament type thing because
Oh.
she's got like a laser cutter and
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, so like our first home or whatever, some sort of ornament, and then we tie it all up with a roll of or some tape and wrapping paper and then some thing, and I say a little card that says thanks for helping me wrap up a great year, like that, and then it's like it's just got to try to do that kind of stuff.
Were those like those? Did you take that Buffini class?
I did.
Was that like the pop? Was that what they call them?
The
Like
pop by
pop
gifts.
buys?
Yeah. Bring over some ketchup and mustard and relish or something.
I tried that once, and I was
I didn't
that
really.
wasn't really my thing. But I do like the wrapping paper. I'm trying to think of what else we've done. I know we used to have like a schedule, like a you know what I mean, like a maybe like quarterly kind of schedule that we did. I haven't been as good with it recently.
She
it's
keeps
just like
telling
everything
me.
keeps going so, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Quickly that there's not like, so like that's something I would do like in my downtime. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
if I had a slow month or something, I'm like, hey, let's get some stuff together and go take these out and drop them off at people's houses.
Yeah.
I just feel like the universe rewards like your activity with, you know what I mean, then activity towards your business. Like you're out there trying, and it might not come back to, those 5 people you dropped something off at today are the ones that are going to call you, but then somebody else does, and I'm like, okay.
I agree with that 100%. And for whatever it is, I think it has to be the universe rewarding you.
I really do. Like, it's like I'm putting energy and, you know what I mean? Like positive energy and like, all this, I'm trying really hard and doing the right things and for the right reasons. You know what I mean? Like I actually do want to just like go talk to these people and help them, whatever. And then it just comes at you from like, you're like, oh, I didn't see that coming, but I'll take it.
So me personally, last year, 2023 was like my worst year in real estate.
Okay.
For whatever reason, I wasn't selling much. And I've always been, fairly consistent. And okay. I sell a good amount and I could take on more if I wanted to, but it's the way I approach and handle my business, I'm good with. And my phone has not stopped ringing. It's been good for me. But 2023, for whatever reason, was my worst year since my first year, which I don't count because that was my first year.
Okay.
Even though, for a first year, I had a pretty good first year.
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. And so for a while, I mean, it kind of messed with I was like, I got really discouraged.
You're like, is it over?
Yeah. I'm
Is
like,
this
I
where it
can't do
ends?
this. I need to find something because if the years keep happening like this, it's not going to work for me. But 2024 started and I'm like, all right, I'm putting myself out there. I'm doing I started, I don't think it has any correlation directly I started making TikToks like every
Okay.
day, just real estate stuff. Not like look at my listing, but like, hey, here's some helpful, keep this in mind if you're doing that. Just things I've come across and encountered, and if I had an incident that day, talk about it on there. And then starting this too, the podcast and talking about real estate, and just for whatever reason, like none of this has led to anything direct. Nobody's like, hey, I saw your TikTok. I want you to be my real estate agent.
Yeah.
But 2024, my best year in real estate. For whatever reason. I don't know. But
I think I don't know. I just think
universe.
it is. It really is. It's all that hard work and everything that you're putting out there.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like really, truly trying to help people. And then I think it just comes back to you. Sometimes like you don't see it. Like it's not like, again, it's not like I talk to this person and this person gives me a referral. It's not like that. But it's like, I don't know.
So if you see a boom in business in the next few weeks, you're welcome. It's from coming on my podcast.
Why, thank you. That's it.
Do you have anything, do you have any interesting like transactional things happening right now? Not really specifically, but anything you can like, for instance, well, let me tell you something and then maybe that'll trigger something with you. I put out an email, I don't know, a week ago or so that was like, hey, thanks to this reload company. Did you see that email?
Yeah, I told you 2 properties that I had coming up, and you didn't.
They don't work.
Oh.
Yeah, they're not going to work. But that story, do you want to hear that story?
Yes.
Okay. So without giving away any like real details. So there's a house in town owned by a reload company.
Okay.
And it's kind of been sitting for a while. I have clients who weren't really shopping in that range, but there was an open house there. So they go to the open house. And for whatever reason, the open house got canceled, but it wasn't canceled officially. So they text the agent, and the agent's like, oh, yeah, sorry, no open house today. But, who's your agent? What's your story? Mike Finfrock.
Oh, septic guy.
Yeah, he's great.
We went to high school together.
Yeah, I know. I've talked to Mike all the time. Yeah. A couple of Rochester people, right? Yeah. So, and the agent says, but it's a reload company. They're super motivated. So just have Eric bring you through, see what happens.
Okay.
So we do. We go through and we throw an offer out there. And they say, but the offer is contingent on a sale. We haven't even listed their house yet.
Oh, that's unusual. Usually they won't take contingent.
They didn't. They said, we can't accept this with this contingency to sell. Also, you need to come up in price.
Okay.
So we come up in price because we're like, we just need to know if the price is good before we list their house, right? Because we're not going to give them what they're asking. That's out of their range. So we'll try again. We came up considerably. Their response this time was, okay, just drop your contingency.
Okay.
So we rush. We get the house on the market. And it's, the whole big thing. And they've got 3 kids, like all under 5.
Wow.
And 2 dogs, and they're super busy. And it's not easy.
Chaos.
It's chaos for them. And it's a lot for them.
It is.
And so we're and it takes us like 3 weeks, and it's a great house. This is one of those houses that should have sold day one. When you list a house and you're like, well, I'm going to have 10 offers tomorrow.
Right.
It was one of those, and it didn't happen.
It sat. And you're like,
sat.
what in the world?
And we're like, what? And they're like, what's happening? And I'm like, I wish I could tell you. All the feedback was great.
Okay.
It was insane. So we finally get a contract on it.
Okay.
After almost 4 weeks. So then we go back and we say, okay, here. We're ready now. And we've got a contract. And they say, no, we don't accept your offer. We need you to come up. We can't come up. We can't come up.
Right.
We've
we already
maxed.
made financial decision.
We gave you the max.
Right.
You said drop the contingency.
Last time, it was the contingency. Did you not talk to the same person? Is it like?
So once it went way up the ladder, and upper management shot it down. Regular management said upper management said
They never communicated
upper management then said right. So here we are.
You're like, oh
yeah,
no.
We've got a contract to sell a house. yeah.
And now you've got to buy
Real
something
estate.
different.
Yeah. Now luckily we we foresaw something like this potentially happening. So we front loaded a contingency that we needed to get them a house for this. But now everybody's kind of being strung along and we're still trying to iron it out and figure it out.
Something
Yeah.
still.
Yep. So
that stinks.
You got anything fun like that going on?
I don't think so. I have to look up. I'm like, I don't know. What do we have going on right now? I'm not really even sure. But I don't think I have anything that sort of crazy right now. Let's see here.
It's that kind of stuff though, right? Where there's no training for that.
No, you have to be a problem solver.
Yeah.
In this business, like you can't just like if somebody says, "Oh, yeah, that's not going to work." Well, why? What do I need to do?
Right.
How does it? And you have to kind of dig in there and figure out how to. I mean, not that I've never had anything go wrong in a real estate transaction,
Yeah,
but right now, knock on wood, nothing crazy like that is happening. So,
but it's those kind of scenarios that it's impossible to be like fully prepared for. It's just because it changes, like every transaction's different. They all present their own unique problems and hurdles to get through. And so when something like this pops up, you're not just like, oh, okay, well, let me just resort to my real estate manual here. And it tells me this is how we do this.
No, that's like the time where you've got to call like the agents that you've worked with and have good relationship with and been like, hey, we're in a pickle.
Yeah.
And I need some help. Do you have anything? That's, that's the only way that you're going to get what you need there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's tricky though.
We're going to figure it out. I'm an optimist.
Well, I mean, it'll get figured out. Mm-hmm. I mean, do you have room in your house? I always tell people I have a top bunk.
I don't. I have 3 kids and 3 dogs.
So no top bunk open in your house.
No bunks. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. No, luckily right now, everything.
Nice and smooth.
It's not super smooth, but it's not anything like that. I mean, there's always little things where you're like, well, that wasn't supposed to happen, but we'll figure it out. I just always tell my clients, we'll figure it out. Like, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, whether it means we have to terminate a contract or whether it means we have to, do something different or pay extra money for this or whatever. Like, we'll figure it out. We'll get some options. We'll figure it out,
Yeah, and if this isn't the one.
There's always more houses.
It'll happen. It'll happen when it happens, and it'll be right, and you'll be happy.
Mm-hmm.
And
I have clients like that. They close on a house today, and I don't know how many offers I'd written for them. 6 probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On different things that they lost, and they were so strong. Do you know what I mean? Like their offers were strong.
Yes.
It wasn't like the kind of clients that you have sometimes that you're like, maybe they need to lose one so that they understand how the game is played. They were not like that. They were very strong with every offer. And they still didn't get them.
Oh,
and
that's
they
hard.
Finally closed on a house today, and we were standing in the backyard at the final walkthrough this morning, and they're like, this is why we didn't get the other ones. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, this is why.
Because they loved it.
This is our house, and they felt really, really good. And they're like, thanks for sticking with us, through it all. But this is why we didn't get those other ones.
That everything happens
this
for a reason, people.
For us.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that, I believe that kind of stuff too. It's when it's right, it will happen and you will be happy and everything, like I'm a happily ever after guy. I don't know, call me, but that's, you sometimes things happen or don't happen for a reason.
Yeah. I'm trying to think I think all my clients love their houses, but I've had 2 over the past 11 years that like afterwards they were like, we shouldn't have done this. And it wasn't necessarily that there was anything wrong with the house. I think that sometimes you get in like, what they don't tell you about real estate is that like not everybody buys a house because they're getting married or having a baby or got a new job.
Right.
You know what I mean? People sell their house because they lost their job or had a death or divorce or, you know what I mean? Like there's other reasons that people sell their houses. And I've had 2 different situations where people, sold and bought something else and they were like, oh, we just, you know what I mean? I'm like, that's okay. We'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, let me know when you're ready. We'll find you something different. It was just kind of like one of those emotional, maybe a little bit of a knee-jerk decision. And they made their choice as, adults that can buy houses. But they can't. But I think that that's kind of a tricky thing to manage too. And I think that sometimes, especially in this market, like it has been recently, maybe people just want to win. They want to win the bidding war. They want to, you know what I mean? Like
don't I?
Yeah, they want to win. I don't even know if they want the house more than they want to win. And it's kind of a scary place, I think, for people to be. And then they kind of are like, oh my God, did we, make a mistake or what are we doing? So don't you walk into houses sometimes and I'm like, hey, I'm not writing a contract on this. You know? I'll find you an agent that will, but I will not.
no, I
You
never,
know,
I never
I've said
say,
that.
I never say I'm not writing an off. I always
I
say
will.
this. I always say
My
this.
name will not be on this contract. I will say it.
I think you have to do what your
Oh
client
my
wants you to do. I
God.
think that's part of the rules. I had
think
Mike
that
Owen
if
here last
I feel
week. I'll have
that
to ask him.
strongly about
Yeah.
it, that they're going to take my, advice on it though too.
I will tell people, and I have many times, this is not your house.
Exactly.
This isn't it. Like, you're trying to talk yourself into this
You
right
want
now.
this to
And
work. But the
this
fact
isn't
that
it.
there's not a place to hang your coat when you walk in
Right.
and there's no mudroom is going to drive you crazy.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, you always have
this
to.
will not work.
There's always going to be concessions you have to make.
Yes, but some of them, you have to prioritize your list.
Yeah.
And I know after walking through so many houses with you that you're going to be bending a lot
Yes.
of your criteria to get
And I'll
here.
say, listen, if like I work for you, so if you want to do it, we'll do it. But just so you know, you're going to be calling me in a year to come stick a sign in
Yes.
the ground, which is also fine with me. But just so, just so you know,
Just hope it appreciates.
this is right, yeah. Just so you know, this is
Get
not
expensive.
this is not what you're looking for. Everything that we've
yeah.
gone through tells me this is not your
Yeah.
house, and I do have, but. If people want to override me and say no,
we're doing it.
We're doing it. Like,
I know. Sometimes
who am
I'll come
I?
home and I'll be like, to say to my husband, I'm like, I don't really think that that's a good idea. And he'll be like, they're grown-ups, Ashley.
They're not your children.
Like, you don't tell them what to do. But when I said, like, I wouldn't sell it, I mean, like, sometimes you walk into a house and structurally you're like, this is bad. You know what I mean? Where you're like, ooh, you know what I mean? Or, like, you feel like you're leaning one way or the other. Or there's just, like,
Like, you get that
You're like,
that
"Ugh."
second page of the repair addendum ready. Like, yeah,
yes.
okay.
You're like, by the way,
Don't
we're going to need a
worry.
book. Yes. No, it's not happening. And it's not worth everyone's time either.
Right.
Like, there's just going to be, all you're going to do is waste money on all your stuff and then have to terminate the contract later.
Yeah.
So, because if the people could have fixed the house, they would have done it when they lived there, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
You
it
would
makes
think.
sense.
Yeah. But that's why people hire you,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why they trust you. Mm-hmm. And so that's a good thing if you're able to say don't do this, and they don't.
Yeah.
And then how many times have you had people thank you later?
Yes.
Saying like thank you for not letting me buy that house. Mm-hmm. I get that a lot.
Yeah. Well, or they'll be like, I'll run into people places and they'll be like, hey, you remember that house that we saw where blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yes, I remember
It
it.
just burned down.
Oh my God. I sold a house once and then like the next day a giant tree fell on top of it. Nobody was
Oh.
in it, but it was like completely destroyed almost. It
Wow.
was weird. Yeah.
But nobody was in it.
Nobody was in it. The new buyers hadn't, like, we closed on it one day and then the next day there was a storm. This tree falls on the house but they hadn't moved in yet.
Wow.
But they couldn't move in then because, there was so much damage. It was huge.
So what'd they do?
I don't know. They weren't my clients. I was the seller's agent.
Oh, you were the seller. Who cares?
I don't know. I didn't mean it like that, but I'm like, oh, I'm glad I don't have to deal with that.
I got a top bunk if they need it.
Amen.
I had this is why I always preach final walkthroughs. Definitely do them, and also try to do them day of.
Yeah.
I always schedule mine literally right before closing, or at least the
only
morning
thing
of
that
closing.
happens with that is like if there's something wrong, you may not have time. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, you need to do it as close
You
to
have
closing
to.
as you can. But sometimes I'm like, there might be something we could have.
I'll tell you a story
Okay.
real quick because we're a little
Are we
over
close?
an hour. And
Okay.
Yeah, you got to be in your car by 2:45.
Yeah, 2:45.
Yep.
You got
I
a
don't have
house
to be
to
anywhere
show.
till 3:20, and it's right down the
Got
road,
it.
so I'm good. But we were set to close on a house, and no, this was winter time.
Okay.
Right, set to close on a house, and our closing was at 9 a.m.
Okay.
We were gonna do the walkthrough the night before, but for whatever, my client couldn't make it. I was like, okay, let's just do it at 8 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So I get there first. As soon as I walk in the door, I hear it.
The water.
Oh, the water. So much of the water.
So much water.
Yeah.
So a pipe burst? Or?
Overnight, a pipe had burst. I think the seller was maybe there like the day before. Day before was fine. Overnight, pipe burst. There was like a foot of water in the basement. I mean, it was just
jeez.
pouring in. And and so we obviously couldn't close.
Mm-hmm.
It took another month to close but had we gone the night before and done the walkthrough,
They would have owned a house with a foot of water.
we
in
would
it.
have went and closed. Then after closing, they would have showed up, and that's what they would have walked into for their new house.
Yeah, that would have sucked.
Yeah. So since then, always do it right
Generally,
before.
that's kind of the time that works well for clients too.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like if they're taking the time off for the closing, they can take off a little earlier for the walkthrough.
When I see like a request come through for a walkthrough on a listing of mine, like 2 days before closing, I'm like,
yeah,
what are you doing?
Seems risky.
Okay. But
yeah,
don't get mad.
Yeah, I don't know about the 2 day before, but I've been known to do the night before too, depending on what people's schedules are.
Sure.
A lot of times though, I'll run through it in the morning. Yeah.
There it is.
If my clients can't, I'll just like swing by and run through, and I'll just tell the other agent, like, I'll grab your lockbox and see you there.
We're so much alike.
We are.
I do the same exact thing. If they like, I can only do it the day before. Okay, we'll do it. So you can do it. But I'm going back I'm going back right before we close just to get eyes on it. Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
I had a house I had listed, like it was my brother's house, and he had gotten sick and had to move out, and the people came to take all the appliances out of the kitchen and stuff. The movers came, and they had left. They took the refrigerator out and the water line going to the refrigerator. They didn't get it closed all the way. So there was like a trickle, a little trickle. But after a few weeks and nobody being in the house, it had completely like wrecked the entire basement ceiling, like bad. I mean, it was like, I don't know, $10,000, $20,000 worth of damage. So much damage that this had done. They didn't do a walkthrough. They never did a walkthrough. And so we go close. And then I get a call midway through that day, like, hey, here's what they found. So why didn't you do a walkthrough? Because now we're in a mess, right? Like, yeah. So that was a good one.
Yeah, there are agents that don't do walkthroughs. Why don't they do walkthroughs? They haven't heard.
They haven't heard. Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean? Like,
training's not right or whatever. Nobody's emphasized the importance, and they haven't had a bad experience.
I don't think I've ever closed on a house without a walkthrough. Even if my clients couldn't be there at all. You know what I mean? Like they're flying in from out of town or, you know what I mean? Something like that. Like they're not, local or something.
Yeah. Do your walkthroughs, people.
Yeah.
Do your walkthroughs.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's bad news.
Yeah.
Well, it's not worth the risk.
It's not?
For, spending 30 minutes at a house.
It's nice to end on a fun note like this, wasn't it?
Walkthroughs. Flooded basements.
What do you got going on the rest of the day?
I gotta get kids from school. We've got to do, they could do a little workout class at the Y. Gotta show some houses tonight.
There you go.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, good luck.
All right. Thanks.
I got to show this house and then
320.
We're 320. And then we're trying to get everything right. How hard it is to like go out of town.
Oh, everything will show up tonight. You'll have to write an offer on that house.
Fine.
It's the worst thing that can happen.
Fine.
I'll
do it. Ashley, thank you so much for doing this.
All right, thanks.
Wasn't so bad, was it?
No.
Okay, told you. All right, next week then? Do it again?
No, not again. Never. Never. This was it.
All right, see you later.
See ya.